Have you ever felt like that sometimes when you're on a diet, it just stalls or like you just hit the wall? Well, today on the Trey Heart Total Heart and Health channel, we will give you some ideas that might help you turn this around. So stick around. So if you remember, I've talked to you about why it is so difficult to lose weight and to stick to a diet, and I'll put a video link in the description below. So what can you do about this? Eventually, sometimes when you're on your weight loss journey, you'll come to a point where you will pause or come against that wall. Now there's one or two things happening here, or actually one of several things happening here. One of them is that you're possibly at the weight that you need to be. What I would advise you to do is go back to and review the video on why I don't necessarily trust the BMI scale, and review through the BMI and your weight and your waist size, and when you go through the video, you'll see why that, I have advised that, because you might possibly be at the weight that you need to be and don't need to actually go any further. The other thing is that there might be some things in your current lifestyle or your current life-changing diet that you're following that you might need to change. So one of these things is possibly to reduce your carbs. So research has showed that when you cut back on carbs, you may possibly succeed better on your diet because you are eating things more like proteins, or otherwise you're eating things that the long term for it is called satiate. So it makes you feel fuller, better for longer. So over 13 studies have been conducted that show that when you cut down on carbs, that your weight loss can be improved. So that is one thing you could try if you're not already on a low carb diet. Number 2 is to increase your exercise intensity or frequency. Remember that when you eat and you're on weight loss, it sometimes is calories in and calories out, but other things affect this, like how much exercise you are doing. And one of the things that you can do is to try to increase the amount of exercise you are doing. So for instance, say you are exercising 30 minutes 3 times a week, which is the recommended amount. You might want to try exercising 30 minutes 5 times a week. A 12-week study of young obese women showed that when they followed a low-calorie diet and exercise for at least 20 minutes a day, they lost on average 13 pounds and also 2 inches from the waistline, which is fantastic. So one of the things you could do is to try to increase the amount of exercise you do. Number 3. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I'm a fan of a food diary. One of the things that after you've been following a food regimen for a while that seems to go away is continuing to keep that food diary. And sometimes when you forget to keep the food diary, then you also forget to track the foods that you shouldn't be eating. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is, if you haven't done it for a while, to get that food diary back out or use a food app, whatever you used, and to track your foods and track your calories in and track your calories out, just to make sure that you're still on the appropriate amount of calories. Now, if you find that you're still on those calories, then possibly you don't need the diet. The counter, I should say, not the diet. But sometimes I think if you review this, you will find that you're possibly going over the amount of calories you need. So get back out your food calorie, diary, or use your food calorie apps and start tracking these for at least this month, and find out where you are at in keeping to your calories. So number 4, don't skimp on your proteins. Remember to increase your proteins. Proteins increase that satiation feelings, or that feeling of fullness. Now, they don't necessarily cause you to eat less calories, but because you feel full, you typically eat less calories. Now, another great thing about increasing your proteins is that they actually cause your body to burn more calories by eating through them. So be sure to increase your proteins every day. Now, number 5 is, before you saw me in some of the previous videos, to talk about stress. Stress is a harmful thing to our body, in that it causes us to release hormones that makes us want to eat more, that makes us, well, it doesn't necessarily make us, but it leads us to wanting to eat more, and it causes us to lean back on other bad habits. So one of the things that we could do to stop this, or to break that wall, is to manage our stress. And remember, there's many ways that we can manage our stress. The relaxation techniques that we can do, or the other techniques that we can do. Now, number 6 is a different tact. One of the things that you could do is to try intermittent fasting. Now, what this means is that you don't eat. I'm not talking about not drinking, because remember, you got to have an appropriate amount of fluid in your diet throughout the day, but not to eat for about 16 hours of the day, and then in a 4-hour period window throughout the day, then you will eat. Now, some people do intermittent fasting for longer than this, up to 48 hours. I don't suggest that, because I feel that sometimes it can cause other stressors to react with your body, or at least in my case it does, but with you it may be different, because everybody's different. But I would suggest that if you're going to try intermittent fasting, especially for your first time, that you stick to the 16-hour rule, and then after the 16 hours, eating for about 4 hours. Now, one thing about intermittent fasting is you still can overeat. It doesn't give you free rein to eat as much as you can over those hours. But say, for instance, you're on a calorie controlled diet and you're on 1,500 calories. Then over that 4 hours, you can eat those 1,500 calories. Now, the great thing about intermittent fasting diets is that it appears to burn more fat over the times when you're fasting, because it tries to use those fat stores. And then when you're not fasting and you're eating your normal diet, whether it be 1,500 calories, 1,800 calories, or if you so happen to be on a 2,000 calorie diet and still be maintaining that period while you're fasting will have burnt off the more fat in relation to if you spread out the meals over the day. Now, just as a word of caution, this works different for different people. So it may work for you and it may not. Now, this other suggestion is just to avoid alcohol. Now, unfortunately, alcohol can stall your weight loss. So one of the things that you can do is to avoid alcohol. Research has showed that alcohol suppresses the fat burning loss that we're actually intending to gain or intending to do. So one of the best things to do is, if you do drink alcohol, is to drink it only occasionally, and then when you do drink it, in very moderate amounts. Myself personally, I don't drink alcohol at all, but that's a personal choice. It's up to you. Now, number 8, one of the things I would suggest for you is to increase more of your fiber. Remember that when you are having those things that would be considered carbs, that you eat brown bread instead of white bread, that you eat brown rice instead of white rice. And remember, there are a lot of other vegetables that are actually high in fiber. The reason why you want to increase your fiber while trying to reduce your carbs is that fiber helps keep your body regular, for want of better words. It helps keep your body flowing the way it should do, your metabolism the way it should do. So one of the things you want to do is to increase your fiber in doing this. Now, I know it's no surprise to you that some beverages that we drink may cause us to gain weight, such as beverages that are high in sugar. But one of the things I would encourage you to do is, instead of drinking like those type of beverages especially, but instead of drinking cans, I would encourage you to drink water. Why? Because water actually encourages fat loss. Matter of fact, it speeds up the fat loss in your system by helping your body get rid of it, as to where the other beverages, even if they are low in sugar, will not do this like water can. So I would encourage you to increase your water. Now, the next suggestion I'm going to put to you is that when you're not intermittent fasting, if you're not intermittent fasting, that's only one thing that you could try. But this next one you could do is to spread protein throughout the day. Now remember, I told you that protein causes you to feel more satiated. Plus, or satiated meaning it helps you feel more full. Plus, it speeds up the fat burning process. Now, the way you could do this is by making sure that you spread your protein by all 3 meals by 20 to 30 grams per day, no more than that. Now, this last one may or may not surprise you, or actually this next one, not this last one, I apologize. This next one may or may not surprise you, but if you don't get enough sleep, you can actually start sabotaging your diet. That is true, unfortunately. Now, when research has shown that when you don't get at least 7 hours of sleep a day, that your diet suffers. So one of the things you can do is try to make sure that you get at least those 7 hours a day. Now, everybody's different, and they may be able to survive, and their diet may not be affected if they sleep less. But I would encourage you that if you can, that you try to at least get those 7 hours of sleep that's recommended, and 8 preferable, but 7 at least a day. Now, this other thing, number 12 would be to be as active as possible. Not just the exercises, not just the exercises at the gym. Remember, when you're at work, you could take the stairs. If you're a desk person, get up and walk around your desk every couple of hours. There's several videos online that have desks exercises. I don't have one on my website at this time, but there are several online that have desk exercises that you could do at your desk. There are some people that even have the standing desk because it shows that you're able to burn more calories than when you're sitting and you're not. So be sure that if you're at work or whatever you're doing, that you're just being more active. Remember, you can use the stairs, you can use the bathroom on a different floor. There's a lot of ways that you can be active at work. And, you know, one of the things I used to do sometimes in my lunch break was to, we had stairs down to another floor, and I used those instead of a Stairmaster. I would go up and down the stairs. It beats buying a Stairmaster for sure. A lot cheaper. Anyhow, try to become more active. One of the other things, you may have or may not have seen my videos on the essential vitamins and minerals. One of the things that you will have noted that, as I said, that the best way to get your essential vitamin and minerals is from eating, and it's not actually from taking over-the-counter vitamins. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is to include vegetables in every meal. Make your plate look like a rainbow. Make it something you enjoy to eat, but have vegetables in every meal. This last suggestion, you've heard me say it before. Don't rely on the scale alone. The scale isn't the only thing. Sometimes when you hit the weight loss and you stop losing weight, if your size is still getting smaller, meaning your trousers or dress or whatever you wear is getting bigger on you, but you're not losing weight, then you're losing the fat and you're changing your body composition. Remember, this is about you. It's about your diet journey. So don't rely on the scales alone. That's why it is so important to you to look at your overall process, not just the scales and not just one thing. So I hope that you have liked this video. I know I like making them for you. And if you've liked this video, please press the like button below. And if you are not a current subscriber, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you will get the videos before the people that aren't subscribed, basically. And remember, your health is your wealth. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.